Hello guys, it's Alexis, and today we're playing A Mind to Mourn, the demo. Constance Lowell is a school nurse, which apparently also makes her the one person responsible for figuring out why a student's mysterious illness has the entire staff being very calm and also very unhelpful about it. Benefactors show up at the end of the week, and everyone would prefer this gets handled quietly. I, of course, have decided that that is not going to happen. So let's jump in. I am indeed 18 plus. Okay. Ooh. Oh, great. Somebody's getting a lobotomy. This is a really cool menu screen, actually. That's really neat. Okay. Let's go play the game. So as I said earlier, this is a demo, so just a prologue for the real game. So keep that in mind. There, in the garden beneath the trees. Oh, no, wait, no, no. Wait, I didn't mean to do that. I thought it was one of those things where you had to click to progress, because I've seen that in a lot of visual novels. My bad. There, in the garden, beneath the trees, lies one whose beauty stole her from me. There, in the garden, beneath the stone, dwells now my mother, called forth unto home. Belladonna, oh Belladonna, return her to me. That's pretty cool. Miss Lowell. Miss Lowell? Ms. Lowell, have you heard a word I've said? Where Constance, apparently. I felt groggy. Slowly, the scene came into view around me. I was in the back seat of the infirmary director's automobile. Dr. Ulrich, you fell asleep during your appointment. I carried you to the car. Right. I remember now. I had been in the middle of a session with Mr. Walker. I cried this time. He must have taken more out of me than I anticipated. Strangely, I felt better. Dr. Ulrich, Ms. Lowell, while I do understand that some forms of therapy can be taxing, it is imperative to remain vigilant. One never knows what they might encounter trouble, least of all out here on the road. We are miles away from the nearest towns, Miss Lowell, and I am far too old to be your driver. Do you understand? Apologies, Director. I've been dreaming of my mother. Your mother? Curious. You've never mentioned your mother before. Was this something Mr. Walker inspired during today's session? I stiffened. I didn't answer immediately. It's not that I didn't trust him. I just worried. I worried that this might be something he could use to hurt me, if given the chance. I recalled something my mother told me before she fell ill. Unless you're on trial, do not answer. And if you must answer, keep it simple. Right then, a private matter. Though when one reaches my age, one develops the unfortunate urge to offer advice. It's best not to fish in empty waters. Huh? You mean dwell on what's been done? That is precisely what I mean, Ms. Lowell. Very good. Now then, I should stress the importance of this coming week. Our benefactors are expected to arrive within the next several days for St. Eulane's annual inspection. My eyes raised from their place at my knees, finding his in the rearview mirror. This was certainly news. Mr. and Mrs. Everston are not to be taken lightly. One word from them, and they can just as swiftly remove you from the grounds. Or worse yet, close the institution. He pauses, searching for some indication that I might understand the severity of his words. I knew the Everstons owned the building. I knew they had the power to make good of their promises. An uneasy feeling settled in my stomach. That means you will find yourself out of a home, Ms. Lowell. And not just yourself, either. It is imperative we see to young Miss Spencer's health before then. Though it would help greatly if we knew how to assist in her recovery at all. Ashley Spencer, 14 years old, diagnosed with a fever. Treatment, ineffective. Isn't she just unwell? A fever, or perhaps mold poisoning like the headmouse? Ms. Lowell. He sighs and begins to tap his forefinger against the steering wheel. Our job is to mend. And how does one mend, precisely? We identify the problem. We do what we can, or I don't know. I know what he wants, so let's give it to him. We identify the problem, the source of injury or illness. His eyes remained on the road. He was silent for a moment. Well, that is only one part of it, Miss Lowell. Our work begins with identifying the problem and continues with what our resources allow. The grim reality is that we cannot save everyone, even when we want to. You're the school nurse, Ms. Lowell. Shouldn't you lead by example? Why, just the other day, I witnessed you— My word! Are you all right? Yes. We must have hit something. Crap. It smells like wet fur and copper. How do you think it managed to get all the way out here? Should we bury it? No. Leave it for the buzzards. You must think me cruel, Miss Lowell, but you never know what disease a feline might be teeming with. It's best to be careful. I understand, Director. Do I? Let's get back to work. I love the visual style of this. It's very reminiscent of, what was it? The Cat Lady? That style of video game. You received a bottle of pills. Medication prescribed to Constance restores tranquility when used. A cold bottle of anxiety medication. I received a paper-bound journal. Records daily information. I received 5 gems for completing the prologue. Welcome to St. Eulane's. You'll find it's rather difficult to keep track of time when indoors. Your journal will help you keep track of the time and day. Other useful information is also stored here. Constance is easily distressed. You will have to coax her into taking medication to regulate her emotions. When Constance is serene, she can go throughout her day with little issue. However, be warned, arguing with others or taking deceitful actions can lower her mood significantly. If Constance becomes too difficult to manage, and refuses her medication, you will have to search for alternatives to make her happy. For instance, she's very fond of stickers and games. You may give Constance medication 4 times a day without repercussions. Open your journal to review Constance's current mood. Your journal icon is located in the top left corner of the screen. No one is around me at the moment. A fine drizzle cloaks the courtyard. Constance feels strained. Okay. It would seem that Constance feels tense. Medicate Constance until she feels calm. Constance doesn't feel calm yet. I don't like taking these, but if it makes me feel better. Constance doesn't feel calm yet. I just took them twice. Constance feels calm. Excuse me, yes she does. Constance feels calm. Well, if I give her another one, I'll already be at the day's allotted amount. I should stop. Constance's mood has improved significantly. That's probably a bug. This probably shouldn't have been showing calm. At least not quite yet. Always remember to check your journal throughout the day. It may help you during encounters. Now that your duties have been explained, let's get you to your room. You've received 5 gems for completing the tutorial. This is your room. Most activities begin here. This is the only place you will be able to save your progress. Don't forget. The shop allows you to spend gems, which you can acquire once every 15 minutes, from your vanity mirror. To unlock the map, you will have to purchase a specific item first. If you get lonely, click on Constance. She might have something to say. Okay. We're an adult, aren't we? We kind of look like a kid ourselves. This place seems kind of eerie lately. I miss my mother. Is it all right if we remain in here a while? Huh. Interesting. I don't know if there's supposed to be anything on this. Usually it's got like a save and the amount of time saved. I don't know if not having that is intentional or if it's a bug. Either way, just something to mention. Okay, so we have a dressing room. And a default outfit, and that is all we have. Okay, so remember, it said Constance likes stickers and drawing. Or, no, Constance likes stickers. Oh, that's interesting. The hints say, while you can't choose when to redeem hints yourself, they'll come when least expected. You really thought you could make your own choices. Well, now that you put it like that, I don't. Lucky stickers can restore sanity completely without the use of pills. Okay, so we need something like a map. Come back in 811 seconds. Chapter 1, Day 1, St. Eulane's. We arrived at St. Eulane's in no time. The remainder of the drive was unusually quiet. Evening. Dr. Aldred's baritone carried through the threshold, keys promptly stuffed into his coat pocket. A faint pounding of hurried footsteps echoed down the corridor. A little blond boy with eyes the color of mud emerged from the hall, his jeans covered with dirt. Doctor, Ms. Lowell, you're finally back. Did you see Milo? I found the juiciest mouse in the West Wing. Dr. Aldridge and I shared a look. a silent agreement to not mention the accident with the cat on the way home. Oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate that. The, West Wing, you say? You know very well the West Wing is closed for construction, boy. But Vincent said it was haunted. I would advise against putting much stock in Mr. Lambton's tall tales. The only thing you will find within those halls are a scraped knee or a sprained wrist. It's true, Mr. King. The floorboards are quite unreliable, and Headmaster Shaw has warned us against mold in the... Ms. Lowell. His voice was sharp enough to make me flinch. Those rumors have yet to be confirmed. Furthermore, it is inappropriate to gossip with the student body. I opened my mouth to protest when I was suddenly interrupted by the sound of footsteps thumping down the hall. Mr. King, playing hooky again, I see. A thin man with a reedy voice came stumbling after him, cheeks puffed with exertion. His eyes fell on the doctor first, then slid to my own with an air of contempt. Mr. Theodore Hackett, English instructor. Treachery! I grew tense. Mr. Hackett was an unreasonably ill-tempered man. He seemed to dislike our department in particular, though I never quite understood why. If the headmaster says there is a health risk, then we do best to believe him. Have you no respect for your superiors? His voice carried across the hall. The entryway was suddenly filled with a tense silence. Suddenly, Basil stepped forward. Mr. Hackett, I don't like sports. All eyes fell to the boy, who was wringing his hands and his shirt rumpling the fresh cotton. Dr. Aldridge let out a sharp bark of laughter. His shoulders shook with amusement, causing his name tag to jump against his coat. Basil's eyes flicked around the room, then narrowed with equal parts confusion and suspicion. Why are you laughing at me? I smoothed down my apron, lowering myself to Basil's level. He means skipping class. Hooky is an informal phrase. I kept my voice low and gentle so he wouldn't feel ashamed. I could see the gears turning behind his eyes, that furrowed brow that preceded either understanding or continued ignorance. I see. Hooky rhymes with cookie, which you're not supposed to eat without permission. So that also means rule breaking. My brows furrowed at the unusual mechanics of his mind. As long as he understood. Dr. Aldridge cleared his throat, smoothing down the labels of his jacket. Right then, you have a class to attend, do you not, boy? Dr. Aldridge tilted his head, guiding Basil's attention to Mr. Hackett. Indeed, he does. Mr. Hackett grabbed the boy by the scruff of his collar, tugging him toward the adjacent hallway. Aw, crud. I thought I could get out of this time. Language, child. It is ill-becoming of a young man to use such vulgarities. Basil's cheeks warmed, but he didn't apologize for it. Just then, Mr. Hackett stopped, craning his neck towards us. And you too. The headmaster tells me he requires an update on Miss Spencer come morning. Though, if you ask me, he'd be better served relieving the pair of you from your positions. Useless. Dr. Aldridge turned to face me, tongue clicking against his teeth. That Theodore Hackett. He turned towards the English room, eyes burning holes through the hardwood. There are a few choice words I have in mind for a man like that. I can't say what precisely, but there's something about him that puts me ill at ease. I looked down at the floorboards. While it was true Mr. Hackett was a stiff sort of man, it didn't feel polite discussing him while he wasn't present. I cleared my throat, excusing myself from the topic. Director, could I ask you something? His eyes slipped from the empty corridor and settled on mine. Ask about the mold. I wanted to ask about the mold, sir. Yes, the mold. What of it? Do you believe the rumor is true? That the West Wing is being prepared for renovations due to such a hazard? I haven't smelled any mold myself, sir, but if it is true there, shouldn't we consider a more permanent means to keep the students from wandering? Ms. Lowell, I am very old and very tired. Rumors alone do not capture my interest. And if the headmaster plans to renovate the halls, then that is at his own discretion. Your only job is to assist me. So, assist. Headmaster Shaw expects a report of Miss Spencer by morning. We have work that remains to be done. About Miss Spencer, what's troubling her precisely? That, I'm afraid, is what we must discover for ourselves. He sighs, pinching the bridge of his nose. Her symptoms are not entirely peculiar. Fever, headaches, dehydration. What stands out to me is that she hasn't taken to any of the medication we've been able to provide her thus far. Then perhaps we might send her to more capable hands, sir. His posture grew stiff. I didn't have to look at him to know he was displeased. I felt guilty. A lot of people began to look down on our department since Ashley had fallen ill. And now I made it sound as if I too didn't have any faith in her recovery. I wanted to clear things up before the misunderstanding could become too grave. But, of course, I didn't mean that you're incapable. No, we cannot send her elsewhere, Ms. Lowell. As it stands, the funding we have set aside for such luxury has been used in full. Used? On whatever for? Well, I'm aware our stock has been running thin as it is. I've been very careful to monitor the infirmary's expenses. Ms. Lowell, perhaps I might speak plainly. I went silent, brows furrowed with anxiety. Whatever he had to say next felt important. As a dedicated staff member, the institution is required to cover the costs of your health care. Of course, not many staff members find themselves in need of such care. Furthermore, dispatching the services of Mr. Walker do not come without expense. I blinked once. I didn't quite understand what he was getting at. He drew in a quiet breath but didn't explain further. What next? Now that we're home, is there anything I could do for you, sir? He shifted his weight, considering for a moment. Why, yes, there is in fact. You can start by organizing what remains of the medicine cabinet, then leave the report on my desk. As for Miss Spencer, I will tend to her myself. Could I not assist you, sir? I feel as though I could provide at least some insight if I was at least in the room. You are not to disturb me. Is that understood? He was always shutting me out. He spoke of duty and his need for assistance, but the reality was far simpler. He only had need for a secretary to handle the grunt work. My lips thinned, curling at the edges as I couldn't quite suppress my disappointment. I felt my chances of a happy life slipping away from me. Without true experience, how could I claim to save the lives of others or mend the broken? He must have noticed my mood, because then he clapped his hand over my shoulder. Ms. Lowell, you may have the rest of the evening to yourself after you've organized the medicine cabinet. I believe Ms. Stern was looking for you. My mood lifted instantly. Evely? Thank you, Director. I wasted no time in getting started. Interesting. Oh. I began the familiar path towards the infirmary, quietly humming to myself the while. My conversations with Evely always had a way of lifting my spirits. It wasn't that she was the only female staff apart from myself, but rather, I felt a kinship with her. She was so lively. But still, I began to feel this nagging suspicion that Dr. Aldridge was hiding something from me. I couldn't understand why he didn't want to explore my theories or at least discuss them. Then there was all his talk about catching fish. Something told me he knew more than he let on. It doesn't matter. If I actually want to enjoy the rest of the evening, then I had best get to work. Okay, interesting. Welcome to your first minigame. Okay, we got minigames. Cute. Read each file description carefully and reorganize them onto the correct shelves. Okay, top shelves are sedatives. Middle shelf is other. Bottom is stimulants. This goes up there for sure. Acetaminophen would go here. Lorazepam is a sedation. Adrenaline is a stimulant. So I'm actually suspecting that Dr. Aldridge maybe shouldn't be left in the room alone with the child. Let's put it that way. Fluconazole. It's a fungal infection. Thing. Bacterial. Oh. Huh. So this decreases agitation, but it's technically other because I think it's something... It's not a sedative, exactly. Used to calm severe agitation. It should be here. Potent medication increases alertness. Oh, that's dextroamphetamine. Oh. Respiratory infections. Stimulant. Everything's been sorted correctly. Done and done. I smiled to myself. It wasn't so difficult after all. That feeling, however, didn't last long. My smile was replaced by the dawning realization that the vials before me didn't quite add up. From my count, we were low on stimulants. I had distinctly recalled the use of sedatives to be in excess this past month. Perhaps I miscounted. Or perhaps some had simply gone missing. I didn't want to think about it too much. I had to let Dr. Aldridge know immediately. Oh, that was chapter 1. Cool. So we have 30. We could get one of the sweet treats or art supplies. I would ideally like to get both since I don't know which is going to be more useful. Let's go with this. What do you mean? I have 20 gems. I have 30 gems. What do you mean I don't have enough? But I can get those. Interesting. A faint light filters in through the wood-slated windows, dust motes catching the air of the cluttered nursery. Basil stands atop an old rickety chair, feet precariously balanced atop a stack of books. In his hand, he holds a shiny porcelain bowl. You recall seeing something similar in the headmaster's office. Here, kitty kitty, where are you? Got your favorite, minced rat and fishtails. The chair creaks below his weight, threatening to collapse at the slightest misstep. He doesn't seem to notice. You awkwardly clear your throat, shaking the box of crayons in the air. Basil jumps, the legs of the wooden chair knocking against the hardwood with a sudden movement. He catches himself in the wall and swivels his head towards you. Oh, Miss Lowell! Are those for me? Basil carefully steps off the chair out of immediate danger for now. The cloying scent of minced rat and dead fish is stronger now. Crayons. Thank you. To be honest, I wanted to draw some pictures like the one in the portrait room. The portrait room? You've never seen it? I'll take you. You've unlocked the portrait room. Okay. Interesting. So we only have 10 left now, so we certainly can't get anything. Oh, wait. What do you mean not enough gems? It says 20. This is so rude. Oh. Can read their file. Oh, wow. Former physician in a private medical practice. Joined St. Elaine's facility following departure from previous post. Reasons officially listed as resignation. I might be seeing things where there are none, seeing shadows where there are none. However, something about that kind of reinforces my suspicion about something hinky going on with him being in the room alone with a young girl. I'm just saying. Occasional reports of alcohol odor during evening hours. Limited participation in faculty meetings beyond required attendance. Strong preference for operational independence within an infirmary. Considered for relocation and release from tenure. Oh. Interesting. This is Hackett. Uses school library resources for instructional preparation. Higher education in classical studies, but his institution is not recorded, which means it's probably a lie. Precise, reserved, and socially restrained. Maintains strict academic decorum in both classroom and staff settings. Generally patient with students and effective in classroom management, though emotionally distant and occasionally sharp in informal opinions. Thomas Walker, psychiatry support. Duties restricted to supervise support within infirmary operations. Medical training. Calbridge Medical Institute, incomplete. Studies terminated prior to completion. Why? Is it because of money, or did he do something wrong? Observed reliance on supervised procedures. No independent clinical authority granted. An enrolled student. Strong aptitude in art. Consistent attendance. Demonstrates strong empathy, honesty, and a calm temperament for age. Frequently observed accessing non-public areas of the school, subject to disciplinary action. The headmaster. So he started as a teacher, and then worked his way up. Higher education institution not recorded as well. That's interesting. Difficult to challenge in administrative matters. Communicates minimally, but decisively. Maintains strict institutional order and rarely delegates authority, preferring to retain direct control over key decisions. Evely is the junior instructor. Assigned to lower year English. Teacher training certificate, institution not recorded. Maybe that's not abnormal. Now there's like three people already that have had that by them. It's very interesting. Strong classroom management and student engagement. Occasional inattentiveness during meetings and administrative proceedings. Not recommended for expanded administrative responsibilities at this time. Interesting. That is cool. Alright, let's go. Is something gonna happen? Oh, I had to click. I began my search for Dr. Aldridge, wandering through the maze of halls towards Ashley Spencer's dorm room. She had been quarantined for some week now, to prevent the fever from spreading to the rest of the student body. The sky was growing dim. Cold lights spilled through the windows as sun began to set. It was in these private moments when I could think with clarity. I wasn't exactly excited to tell Dr. Aldridge that someone might have been stealing from the medicine cabinet. His mood would no doubt sour at the interruption of whatever it was he did with Miss Spencer. I swallowed my nerves and moved with purpose. I had just turned the corner when... Oh! Hey! Watch where you're... Constance? It was Evely. Evely! She grabbed my hands, offering them a gentle squeeze. Constance, I'm so glad you're back. Those appointments with Mr. Walker seem to take longer and longer each month. Her expressions shifted to one of concern. Hey! You don't look too good. Is everything all right? I smiled awkwardly. I felt uncertain whether it was best to tell her the truth. Tell her about the cat. As much as I want to tell her about the missing vials, I don't think we should. Your mood has increased. I wasn't quite sure where to begin. I decided that the beginning might be best. Well, I kept my voice low. It was difficult to tell when others might be listening. That same sensation of guilt pulled taut like a wire in my belly. She leaned forward, a slow, curious smile pulling at her lips. Well, what? Don't leave me in suspense now. I decided to speak quickly before losing my nerve. I think Dr. Aldrich might have hit Milo on the way home. She gasped, craning her neck down the hall as if to ensure we were truly alone. But isn't that Basil King's stray? Are you sure? I winced, unable to look her in the eye. It wasn't as if I were the one that hit him, and yet... Well, it was a tabby. And it's not as though the grounds are crawling with cats. Right. Nothing but road for miles. It's kind of a buzzkill. No pun intended. She shifted her weight. Her expression was soft, thoughtful. If I were Basil, I'd like it if someone told me. Huh? Well, think of it this way. It's much worse to spend night after night worrying if your favorite pal was safe. Her voice grew softer. I'd like it if someone were to tell me. A small, thoughtful hum vibrated in my throat. She was right. I only worried that Mr. King was far too young for such hard truths. I'll consider it. I won't twist your arm about it. It's just something to consider. I crossed my arms across my stomach, fingers picking at a worn fray in my apron. Dr. Aldrich said that you were looking for me? Earlier, I mean. My voice was quieter now. Oh, yes. Have you heard the news? The Everstons are coming at the end of the week. A faint hum lingered in my throat. It would appear so. Dr. Aldrich told me on the drive home. The Everstons. Mr. and Mrs. Everston were something of an annual spectacle for St. Elaine's Academy. Each year they came for their inspection, always dressed too finely for the weather, always smiling at things they didn't intend to fix. They came into the boarding school some years ago with the sole intent of appearing charitable, but without much care for its existing inhabitants. The monthly stipends they'd mailed had scarcely enough to cover for the children's necessities, let alone leave room for improvements across the facility. The neglect they'd begun to foster within these walls became something of a dirty secret among those who were familiar with their dealings. They'd collect the most charitable of donations from the students' respective families, send what they deemed was acceptable, and then pocket the rest to cover their own grand expenses. It was the reason they'd hired a staff like ours in particular. We had nowhere else to go. We would be grateful to receive what we could. They were, for lack of a better term, thieving. Rich pricks. Constance? Hello, Earth to Connie. You spaced out there for a second. I guess you really are tired. Ask her how she feels. Sorry, I was just daydreaming. You tend to do that quite a bit. Heat crawled up the back of my neck. And you? Are you nervous about... She snorted. Our generous benefactors. Not really. The worst they can do is shut us down. There she was again, minimizing my problems, making them feel microscopic, in contrast to the anxiety I felt. She leaned forward. You look nervous. Dr. Aldrich better not be scaring you again. I could only look down. The silence that settled between us didn't feel awkward. I didn't feel that nagging urgency to bring the report to Aldrich. Maybe it could wait until tomorrow. Hey, come to think of it, why aren't you helping Dr. Aldrich with Ashley? Aren't you his assistant? My knuckles tensed against the report. I was asked to take inventory. I was on my way to tell him about the missing inventory when I bumped into you just now. I offered what I hoped would be a reassuring smile. If she saw through my disappointment, she didn't say anything. Well, if you're busy, I won't keep you. Her hand settled against her hip. She was wearing a cream-colored nail polish this week. She looked exhausted. I've got to go and look for Basil's notebook myself. Mr. Hackett didn't want to leave class again. You know, in case Basil King gives him the slip. I let out a light chuckle. Oh, he mentioned he was looking for rats in the West Wing. The West Wing? Her eyes crinkled at the edges. Have you heard that rumor? What rumor? She leaned forward eagerly, a mischievous grin spreading across her lips. So you haven't heard? The students are saying the West Wing is haunted. Haunted? By what? She rolled her eyes, her thick brown curls catching at the edges of her lashes. By the Everston's poor construction stipend. She shakes her head. No, but in seriousness, there's a rumor going around that the West Wing is haunted by a fellow student. Her voice dropped a fraction, taking on a mocking, eerie quality. They say he died years ago, murdered by his own teacher, and now he stalks the halls searching for revenge. I let out a sharp gasp, heartbeat leaping into my throat. I was easily frightened, and she knew this. She laughs, drawing backwards. Of course, the rumors aren't true. I hesitated at first. If the infirmary director wasn't interested in hearing my theories, then perhaps Evely might be willing to hear me out. Evely, there was another rumor that you might have heard, perhaps? She blinked slowly. I was being too vague. I lowered my voice. I wasn't certain, but... Well, according to the headmaster, Ashley Spencer may be suffering from the effects of mold poisoning. Myself, I haven't seen any signs around campus. I spoke quickly, afraid I would lose my momentum. Furthermore, if Miss Spencer had been suffering from such an ailment, wouldn't others begin to show symptoms? I've been thinking, it might have something to do with the West Wing. She leaned back, her expression growing thoughtful. I could see the gears turning behind her eyes. A part of me was anxious. I thought she would shut me down like the infirmary director. The building's old, so I wouldn't rule it out. Aren't you and Dr. Aldridge in charge of diagnosing Ashley? Why is the headmaster butting in? She crosses her arms, shifting her weight onto her hip. It just seems, I don't know, suspicious. I thought so too. They seem dead set on keeping us out of the West Wing. Dr. Aldridge hasn't allowed me to assist him with Miss Spencer even once. She seemed surprised by that revelation, but I couldn't expect her to know the inner workings of our department. I was rarely aware of what transpired in her own classroom. I began to feel like a bad friend. Really, that old bastard. Her brows drew together. I could tell she was frustrated. Was she angry on my behalf? I felt affection for her, gratitude, even. Shouldn't we tell the headmaster? I mean, I wouldn't want to stick my nose where it doesn't belong, but won't you lose your job? I just don't think it's right for him to decide that for you. I chewed my lip. That wasn't something I had considered. I suddenly felt angry at myself for failing to realize, and at the director for thinking so little of me. If I were to be relieved from my position, where would I go? I drew in a breath, forcing my smile to remain polite. I'm certain he has his reasonings, Evely. I don't want to bother the headmaster just yet. But even to me it sounded weak. She huffed, frustration clear in her voice. Do you honestly believe Dr. Aldridge is going to take the fall himself? When the headmaster starts dragging the pair of you into his office, who do you think the infirmary director is going to blame? I don't know, Constance. It's just something to think about. Just stop being so fucking nice all the time. My expression faltered. I didn't expect her to yell at me. Oh. Look. I'm sorry for yelling, but you can't just let people walk all over you. We're friends, but it's so irritating to watch. I wasn't certain of what else I could do, so I just smiled. Okay. She let out a frustrated huff. Somehow, I don't think smiling was the right thing to do. I couldn't stop thinking of what Evely had told me. It was a confusing situation to navigate. I just wanted to lay low, be helpful. I couldn't tell whether she was mad at me or for me. But rarely did those truths collide. I knew she had my best interest at heart, and for now, I suppose that was enough for me. I replayed the day's events, ensuring no loose ends would make themselves known come the morning. In the end, I never did tell Dr. Aldridge about the missing stimulants. I was such a coward. Even as I fell asleep, I could have sworn I heard crying. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I don't know why this says not enough gems. Is the actual cost 200 maybe? I'm not quite sure. Okay. Day 2, Fickle Faculty. Every morning you're required to start your breathing workouts. It's simple, follow the sequence to allow Constance to breathe better. Be warned, every failed sequence comes at the cost of your sanity. Simon says, mimic the sequence, don't you want to make me happy? Y-C-E-E. Y-C... Oh. Y-C-E-E. Y... Y-Y-C-C-E. Cease. C-E-A-C-E. I slept miserably. Last night just before bed, I was certain I had heard crying. But after the fog of restless dreams, and the budding realization that today was a new day, I couldn't quite place to whom the cry belonged. Oh, the fact remains, Constance, you're not the only one to have a difficult time of late. I pulled myself out of bed and began to dress. A nice meal before work and we'll sort everything out. The parlor room wasn't the usual bustle of activity one generally saw in school lunchrooms. As it stood, there were only a handful of children that made up the student body of St. Eulene's. The children ate quietly, in whatever nook they could manage, departed on time, and took their mischief to the halls. St. Eulene's was more a home than any proper schoolhouse. In private, I had always referred to the hallways as the lungs. My eyes settled on the director and Evely tucked in the corner. They were seemingly discussing something. Treatment. Unfair. Assure you. Exclude. An irrational fear clouded my throat. She couldn't have told the director, could she? I wanted to intervene quickly. Christ! I didn't register the burn at first, or Mr. Hackett's pained yowl. My eyes fixated on the large coffee stains spreading across Mr. Hackett's usually immaculate button-down. A feeling of pure dread and embarrassment washed over me. The parlor room had gone silent. I could feel their eyes on me. I don't know why I could do that. Oh, it looks like if I right-click, I can save. But wasn't I supposed to only be able to save in my room? I feel serene. Excuse me, Ms. Lowell. Surprise me? Your standing with the faculty has decreased significantly. That's concerning. Sorry, I didn't read that. I was too embarrassed. Have you nothing to say for yourself, Ms. Lowell? His voice was a sharp hiss, cutting into something very personal inside me. Only my mother had spoken in such a cutting... This felt... What's this now? Are you going to cry after you hurt me? I don't think I feel serene. You can't be... Ugh. Dr. Aldridge, please. Before I'd even begun to process what had happened, I felt my dress skirt clinging to my thighs, an acrid warmth. She peed. Evely said, "Hey." I could hear the sharpness in her voice, protective and livid. I shrank into myself. Of course she had seen. They had all seen. I was still trembling, but the adrenaline had subsided, melting into something more subdued. Evely made her way towards us, quietly soothing the children between footsteps. Accidents happen. Miss Stern, while I understand that the female species must represent one another, there are children present. Please be mindful. Mr. Hackett looked as if he were about to say something, but then thought better of it. I could feel the shame welling up inside of me. I shouldn't have been over hasty. I lowered my eyes, staring at the puddle at my feet. My skin was beginning to feel the sting where the coffee had splashed on my wrist. I could only imagine how Mr. Hackett felt. If that's quite enough this morning, allow me to escort you to the infirmary, Mr. Hackett. Those burns ought to be tended to. He wasn't referring to myself. I felt grateful. At least Hackett would withdraw from the room. The rare occasion that your observation is astute, Doctor. The headmaster will be hearing about this. If she cannot conduct herself accordingly, then she is right to be relieved from her position. Dr. Aldridge promptly escorted Mr. Hackett out of the parlor room, but not before shooting me a cursory glance. I was left alone with Evely. I don't want to go forward with that being my decision. I don't want to go forward with that being my decision. The remainder of students still crooned their heads, hoping to gain a view of the small conflict that had been bubbling in the center of the room. Hey. Her voice was a concerned whisper, eyes shifting towards the back of the room. You should grab a change of clothes. I would walk you myself, but someone needs to keep an eye on the students. Evely, Ms. Lowell, are you okay? He was on the verge of a meltdown. His spoon was clutched in his hands, porridge dripping onto his pants. Mr. King, please, return to your seat. Ms. Lowell is quite all right. But this was no longer about me. I had to cast aside my embarrassment to not cause further spectacle. I'm quite all right, Mr. King. You should return to your seat. You could slip. I forced a stiff smile. He seemed conflicted, head flicking between the pair of us and then the mess on the floor. He didn't say anything at first. Instead, he just... Evely rushed forward to soothe him, but I could hear the curse she had to bite down. Constance, I think you should leave before this gets out of hand. What a mess. Ms. Lowell! Ms. Lowell! I paused at the distant pounding of sneakers against hardwood. Oh, Miss Evelyn wanted to make sure you had a hall buddy. Oh, my heart squeezed. So she did care. That was very thoughtful of her, Mr. Quinn. I didn't want to come, but Basil kept blubbering. Children were often painfully honest. I never got used to how jarring it felt. We walked for some time in awkward silence. I drifted further away from him, determined to keep my distance. The silence began to grow awkward, but just when I was about to speak, Edgar's voice cut in. Miss Lowell, do you think Ashley is going to die? Mr. Quinn! Mr. Hackett said... My stomach twisted. How could he say such a cruel thing to a child? A smaller part of me wasn't certain of whether I disagreed with him. Even I wasn't aware of the more intimate details of her condition. Mr. King, I'm not going to be defending Hackett. I kind of want to pry. Your standing with Evely has increased. Did he now? What else does Mr. Hackett say? If he had found my prying to be suspicious, he didn't show it. Instead, his brows pulled together as if it took great effort to recall the memory. Oh, well, never mind. I beg your pardon? It's a bad thing, so I don't want to say it to you. I hesitated, but I couldn't leave empty-handed either. I cleared my throat, willing my voice to sound gentler. If Mr. Hackett said it, I don't believe it could be bad, Mr. Quinn. I might even give you a sweet for showing such courage. I don't have a sweet. He seemed to consider my words before speaking again, the promise of a reward overriding his cowardice. Him and Headmaster Shaw are gonna send Ashley to down below. Down Below? My eyes narrowed. I couldn't make sense of it. It wasn't as if St. Eulane's had some form of cellar. It wasn't as if they were determined to send her to hell either, though it was my first thought. How strange. Mr. Quinn, how do you know this down below is a bad thing? Perhaps they meant bungalow. I've heard them to be quite comfortable. Sea breeze and sunshine. Mr. Hackett always pretends to write on the board when he feels shy, and then the headmaster gave him a scolding. I didn't know teachers could get in trouble. Even grown-ups can tell fibs and find themselves in less ideal circumstances, Mr. Quinn. Just like you in the breakfast hall? Yes. Just like me in the breakfast hall. Mr. Hackett never yells at us. Does that mean he hates you? Of course he doesn't, Mr. Quinn. Mr. Hackett raised his voice at me because I caused him pain. Pain has a peculiar way of manifesting itself at times. Sometimes, we yell at each other when we can't articulate how we feel. It doesn't make it right. You must never yell at one of your classmates. Do you hear me, child? Yes. After I had finished dressing, I went straight to the infirmary, hoping to apologize to Mr. Hackett. Strangely, the office seemed empty. I could tell right away that no one had stepped foot inside the room since yesterday. Hello? Doctor? Mr. Hackett? I stepped forward into the room, bracing my hand against the wall to keep from stumbling. It was dark in here. My fingers found the familiar plastic casing of the light switch. Click, 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 click. The light bulb must have burned out. I drew in a deep breath. I could have sworn I turned out the light before leaving last night. I was thankful I was familiar with the layout. Where does that man keep the light bulbs? As bare it is... Crash. Oh, fuck me. I tripped over the trash can. And now the floor was covered in bloodied band-aids and tissue paper. I cringed inwardly. Biohazard. As I began to sort through the garbage, my eyes landed on a piece of scrap paper. What's this? It was too dark inside the infirmary to read it properly. I held the paper out towards the hall, hoping to catch some words in the dim light. Darn low. What on earth is Darnlow? Before I could think too deeply on the matter, I heard the sound of footsteps approaching. I stuffed the clipping into my pocket just in time. Ms. Lowell, what in heaven's name has gotten into you? Sitting on the floor in the dark now, are we? Director, I had actually come to apologize to Mr. Hackett. I see. Mr. Hackett insisted on speaking with the headmaster. Let's ask him about himself. People like talking about themselves normally, and I think that event in the cafeteria negatively affected our opinion of him, shall we say, or his opinion of us. Our standing with him has increased. I didn't want to dwell on what might have been transpiring in Headmaster Shaw's office. I never thanked you properly for driving me to my appointments, Director. He seemed surprised by my sudden shift in topic, as if he wasn't expecting me to speak to him so directly. Your gratitude is not required, Ms. Lowell. I am certain it has not escaped your notice that I tend to hold on to more traditional values, shall we say. I had a daughter about your age once. While you two may be dissimilar, I often find myself falling back to those paternal tendencies. He didn't say more. I understood how it felt to not want to speak of family because the memories were too painful. His hand brushed over the light switch. Click. Click, click, click. It doesn't work. I had intended to search for the spare, but as you can see, his tongue clicked against his teeth. You won't be finding spares in here, girl. It's best to find Mr. Harvey when these situations arise. Seeing as you're here now, you may do so in my stead. He stepped forward, offering his hand. Tell him that you require a coil of rope and light bulb. Do not tarry, Ms. Lowell. My brow furrowed. The light bulb was a reasonable request, but I couldn't envision a reason as to why we might have a required rope. Rope? Whatever for, Director? His jaw clicked faintly. I could barely make out his silhouette in the darkness. Do you find rope to be of interest, Miss Lowell? No. Then it should not concern you, should it? Seeing as though you appear to be ill at ease, the rope is for something more festive. I was relieved that the infirmary director had sent me off on an errand. Since that morning, I hadn't had the time to reflect. I wanted to ask Evely about what she and the infirmary director had been discussing. I removed the clipping from my pocket and unfurled the paper. In the light, I could read it more clearly. Darnlow Sanity. I suspected whoever had torn the original page didn't want its contents to be known. Too many secrets had begun to make themselves known. I felt claustrophobic. I couldn't stand around and wait for answers to make themselves present. I wonder where Mr. Harvey is. I wound my way towards the garden shed, hoping to find him. Knock, knock. Mr. Harvey, sir? Are you in there? I suppose not. Mr. Harvey! What is it? His voice was old and rough, polluted by years of smoking and drinking. It was the kind of voice that always held a hint of impatience, but somehow managed to make you feel at home. Mr. Harvey! Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Harvey was bent over a large hole with pipework sticking out of the soil. I couldn't have told anyone what he might have been poking into this time. He smacked a dirty, oil-slicked rag against the pipe, spitting out a huff. Mr. Harvey, sir. God damn it, I heard you the first time. How am I supposed to know what you heard? Old as you are, your ears have probably blown out. A slow smile spread across his lips. He stuffed the rag into his back pocket. Hey, watch yourself now. I may be old, but I can still beat a mother hubber. We shared a quiet chuckle, the familiarity settling between us like a warm blanket. It was a rare treat to visit Mr. Harvey. Dr. Aldrich had insisted I not tarry, but a few minutes couldn't hurt. So, okay, here's the thing. I'm sure asking him what he's working on would be good for our relationship. However, I want to know what Darnlow is. Mr. Harvey, what's Darnlow? He turned his back to me, inspecting the pipes below. Darnlow? That's that crazy people hospital. Lots of bad folk over there. You don't need to be going over there either. You're too damn skinny, and I don't want to go to jail for slamming some mother hubber into the wall. So Darnlow was a sanitarium. I was glad he was looking away right then. Something sickly churned in my stomach as the name made its home in my mind. I couldn't fathom why the headmaster would send a 14-year-old girl to a place like that. Oh, let's ask him what he's working on. What are you doing? I leaned forward, attempting to get a better view of the pole. He shooed me away with a large hand, cursing under his breath. Don't step no further, you're gonna fall in and mess up your damn tights. My hands found the hem of my dress, pressing my apron against my stockings. Oh, it's this damn water main. Pipe busted and flooded the whole bathroom in the west wing. Ah, shit. He cleared his throat, clapping the dirt from his hands. Yeah, they told me to shut it off, but I got lazy. Now look at me. Pretty good looking, huh? He held out his hands as if to make a show of the dirt and grime on his clothes. I could only laugh. It felt good to laugh. Speaking of ears, Mr. Harvey, have you heard any rumors around campus? He made a face as if he had eaten something sour, rising to his feet. I don't got no time for rumors. Why, somebody saying something to you? I can give him one of these. He shakes his fist slowly, raising it just beneath his chin. I smiled sheepishly, shaking my head in an effort to diffuse the tension. No, Mr. Harvey, I'm quite all right. I had only asked because I heard the West Wing was being reconstructed due to mold. His expression darkened immediately. A quiet panic bubbled inside of me. I wondered if I had said the wrong thing. That son of a bitch better not be bringing more people in there. Now, I told him if anything needs fixing, I can fix it. He adjusted the brim of his cap. His mouth appeared smaller without his dentures. It was uncanny. He drew in a sharp breath, nostrils flaring, and shook his head. I haven't seen no mold. If there's mold, then shit. Well, then I guess there's mold. It would explain why there's all those dead rats stinking up the place. It wasn't the answer I was expecting, but I didn't want to put him in a foul mood by prying further. Before I leave, Dr. Aldridge asked I bring a spare bulb and some rope to the infirmary. Rope? Yeah, I got a bit of rope. And some bulbs, too. Only problem is I lost my damn keys to the shed. If it's really important, I can bust a lock for you. I held my hands up quickly, shaking my head. No, that won't be necessary, Mr. Harvey. I'm certain the headmaster holds a spare somewhere. He arched his brow slowly. Well, if you find either, give it to me. Can't have no keys floating around here. Too many damn kids running around. Mr. Harvey had given me a lot to think about. Darnlow was a sanitarium, and even he himself was uncertain of the mold outbreak in the West Wing. While I didn't have all the pieces, I felt a little more secure. Miss Lowell! My eyes narrowed subtly, taking in the flushed cheeks and smattering of dirt stuck to his trousers. I had half a mind to feel concerned for him, were it not for the wide grin he wore. Heavens, Mr. King, what are you doing out of class? Mr. Hackett will only come looking for you, and he's already been cross with me this morning. I paused. I was beginning to sound like my own mother. I was searching for Milo. I haven't seen him in days. What if he's cold or hungry? That familiar pang of guilt shot through me. I recalled what Evelie told me the other day. If I were Basil, I'd like it if someone told me. Okay. Which do we choose? I'm of the mind that telling the truth is always better, even though sometimes it is something that takes a while to get over. But he's so young. We shouldn't infantilize children. And then, best to be honest. I couldn't lie to him. Our standing with Basil has decreased significantly. No! But I told the truth. This is almost worse than the pea situation. Mr. King, there's something that is difficult for me to say. Basil lowered his chin, his eyes narrowed with an air of suspicion as I gathered my own courage. Milo won't be returning to the schoolyard, Mr. King. Why not? I briefly wondered why children deepened their voices when they attempted to appear angry. Sometimes cats wander. They get into trouble. Other times, trouble finds them. What? Are you saying he's hurt? I could see the panic building in his eyes. My gentle approach seemed to have the opposite effect of what I had intended. Well, I wouldn't say hurt. I only meant, Miss Lowell, we have to find him soon. So much for attempting to be honest. I lowered to a crouch, placing myself at eye level. How about we get you back to class, Mr. King? It's freezing out here. But wait, I didn't get to show you what I found today. It's not a dead rat, is it? What? No, it's... Let's make a deal, okay? If you beat me at my favorite game, I'll tell you. I should have coaxed him into telling me, but I can't resist the temptation of a good game. Oh. Oh wait, does he always do it in the same pattern? Oh, he always does it in the same pattern. I was overthinking this. You won! That's so awesome! It only took you 3 rounds, too. Huh? No one's ever... Mr. King! Uh-oh. Gotta go. Bye, Miss Lowell. He disappeared before I could even ask him what he meant to show me. Mr. King, wait! Before I could give chase, my eye caught something shiny on the ground. Picked up a brass key belonging to the garden shed. Huh, an old key. I wonder if this might be the key Mr. Harvey had lost. Mr. Harvey! I believe I found your key. Could he have gone somewhere? I figured there was little harm in helping myself. Let's go find Mr. Harvey. I don't want to make the old guy dislike us. I already tried calling for Mr. Harvey. Perhaps I should try using the key. Oh, well, I don't have a choice, so... It worked! The garden shed was a dimly lit space, scattered tools and cobwebs making up the interior. Oh, I certainly hope there aren't any spiders. I managed to lean over the chunky lawnmower that occupied the majority of the space. I didn't belong in a tool shed. I preferred the confines of the nurse's station, behind my desk, with a nice cup of tea. Done and done. I looped the rope around my shoulder and stepped back. I wasn't certain why, but I stood there for a moment, taking a silent inventory of the shed. My eyes first landed on the crowbar. I smiled to myself. It was a burglar's tool. Now what to do with this key? It didn't feel right keeping the key for myself. Our standing with the headmaster improved. I didn't want to lie. I locked the door behind me and tucked it beneath a stone. I'd have to send a note to Mr. Harvey so he knows where to find it. I suppose this is the last I'll see of this place. It wasn't until after I delivered the rope to Mr. Aldridge that I realized I had completely forgotten the light bulb. Well then, finally we got the sweet treat. Goodness. That was not 20. Okay, so actually, in the dev log, the dev mentions that they lowered the price of items to better match the length of the demo. I suspect what happened is that they changed the number on how much it costs, but not the actual background cost. So that might be something to take a look at, Bev. I don't really want to save, honestly, because I really regret the pee incident. Let's just go with it, I guess. Interesting. Okay, let's continue. Chapter 2, Night 2, Fickle Faculty. I couldn't sleep again. It was that crying. A small part of me felt sympathy for whoever it was. Another part of me... well, I just wanted to sleep. Oh, what should I do? Investigate. Be nosy. If it were me... Oh, you're frightened. I wouldn't want to be alone like that. I'm afraid of dark places. I swung my legs out of bed, determined to find the source of the sound that had been keeping me awake for 2 nights now. It was dark and I could barely see what was in front of me. I wished I had a light of some kind. I stepped out into the hall, craning my neck to listen where the source of the sound had come. The walls seemed to press further in, the deep I wandered, and before I knew it, I found myself at Ashley Spencer's door. The door was cracked. I could scarcely see inside. Hello? The crying stopped. I felt my heart squeeze. I knew I wasn't allowed to enter, but I couldn't stand the secrets. I couldn't stand the way they treated me like glass. Her wrists were bound with rope. Her lips were chapped as if she hadn't been offered a drink of water in some days. And the stale room reeked of urine and carbolic. Miss Spencer? Who did this to you? Inside, I knew the answer. Perhaps if I had never spoken to her that night, or perhaps if I had never loosened her bindings, it would all have ended so differently. For all of us. A Mind to Mourn. Wow. I would like to thank you, the player, for taking time to play my game. While A Mind to Mourn is not a completed project, it has been a significant amount of work up until this point, and there are plans to continue and finish the story in the future. My aim is to see the story through, so that you will not be left with another mystery. While not all the content I had originally planned was included in the demo, it is my hope that you enjoyed what you have experienced so far. I would also like to thank my community for supporting me while I took the time to explore new creative outlets. Without you, I could not have finished the project. I would also like to thank my subscribers for supporting my platform and making sure I remember to sleep and stay hydrated throughout the process. You can follow me on TikTok Signed Blair.exe. Okay. And that, everyone, was the demo for A Mind to Mourn. I am intrigued, horrified, but intrigued. I'm just saying. Like, this is terrible, and we all know what's happening, probably. But... Huh. Very interesting. I have so many questions. So many questions. Like, who's involved? Honestly. Are any of them innocent? I can promise you next time I won't be making the choice to pee on the floor in the cafeteria. Or tell the kid about his dead cat. Both of those decisions hurt me greatly, and I ended up not going back and retconning the whole thing, even though I dearly wanted to, because I wanted to give you guys kind of like the first impression of everything as I'm making my own mistakes, as there were many in this playthrough. But either way, if you guys want to see me play this in its entirety once it does come out, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this playthrough and others, consider subscribing. It really does wonders to help the channel and is so appreciated. But yeah, regardless, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And maybe we should, well, maybe not ignore the crying. Ignoring the crying is not what I wanted to do. I don't know what would have been a better option there. But anyway, bye!